There we go. Okay, so this is work that we've also been doing, and this is I'm going to report on work in the entire Chugach National Forest, but focusing on Portage. And we're also fortunate in having one of the students who most recently has been doing this work. The title I have here is Hidden but Everywhere, because most people are surprised to find out that we have bats everywhere. They're everywhere. They come out when it's dark, okay, and so you're all asleep, and so that's why you don't see them. But let's go on, okay. So in Alaska we have 7 species of bats. The one that's in red is the only one we have up here in the Chugach area, called a little brown bat. Okay, and there it is. It's not happy because I'm holding it, all right? But to give you an idea how big these enormous bats are, okay, a large one is about 10 grams, which is about a third of an ounce, half an ounce. They're only about 3 inches long. Their wingspan is about the size of your hand, okay? And you okay, sorry, I can't resist, all right, bats, okay. So little brown bats, this is showing you where they're found in Alaska. As you'll see, it's almost everywhere in Alaska. And by the way, they also extend over in the Yukon and Canada as well. This picture here I wanted to show you. There we go. Don't ask me what this bat was doing, but it was stretching, okay, at the fish viewing platform. There, see? All right. Now, okay, I'll get to this in a minute. Here's some bat myths, okay? They're not blind. They don't suck your blood, or at least ours don't. They're not related to mice. And this is the one that really gets me. They are not attracted to human hair. One of the people I was talking to, this was at the visitor center, and I was giving this talk at the visitor center. And they said, "I understand that bats are attracted to hair, so I should never sleep outside." I told her it was okay. Bats are not attracted to hair, and you can sleep outside. All right. All right, so the overall pattern of bats here in Alaska is that they start waking up in April, where we are just starting to get some activity now. I'll show you a picture of one of the recorders. And so May is when they start to assemble to breed. And they then go back and hibernate in about September. So that's the entire period of their activity. Okay, so this is supposed to be a map of the Chugach National Forest, and you can't see anything except the circles, but in the work that we've been doing over this period, we have been studying bats throughout the entire Prince William Sound. And the area in green is Portage, where we do most of the work, again, because it's easy to get to. And what we found is that the distributions, behavior, and the rest in Portage is about the same as they are throughout the entire forest. Okay, now this is what you all, most people think about where bats live. Okay, bat caves. But as you all know, we don't have caves here in most of Alaska, for that matter. So where are they? That's the purpose of the title here, okay, is that they're here, but where are they? I'll tell you later. In case you forgot, here's some of the sites where we have detected bats, and some of this is from Cordova area. So some of it is further south. Some of it's in Chugach, as you'll see. And the point that I'm making is that in terms of our environment, it's about the same. Next, I would like to point out that the field work done on bats, as you see, are done by girls. Because they are, this is me speaking as a professor, you work so much harder, you're so much stronger, you only complain to each other, you get the work done. Beth, am I wrong? Okay, see, right, okay. The preferred feeding habitat. Okay, now here is where you want to stop thinking about being like us and think about a bat. How are they going to get through anything? They fly at night. To show you a minute about how they navigate. But how they see the environment is different from us. Streams and lakes are their avenues of getting to places. And it's also where the food is that they eat, which is mosquitoes. Well, through a lot of work, we've found some of the habitats that they are most found in. And I'm going to show you one in a minute. Remember that come about September, it gets so cold for these little animals, they hibernate. And so they don't migrate. They stay here all year round. The animals live about 5 years, 6 years. So they're living through winter. I'll tell you about the place they live there, but they're also found in talus slopes. And so comes fall, they will go into the talus slope deep inside there. And so when it starts snowing, the snow falls on it. It's just like a down blanket. And then they will spend all winter there. All right. This is on the Blue Ice Trail. Most of you can see that. And I keep saying this term, moss ball. I am really proud of that. I invented this term. I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. How we can tell where the bats are is using these recorders that can hear the ultrasonic sounds that the bat make. And where's the bat recorder? You can't see it because it's hidden. And I have one of these with me. And I'll show you how we use this. But we will put these up throughout the forest, turn them on, and then they will record when the bats are using the ultrasonic sounds to navigate throughout the environment. And so sometimes we'll use an external microphone, but mostly it's those instruments we put on the tree. So this is how bats feed. This is how they navigate throughout the environment, is they put out these ultrasonic sounds that we cannot hear. And just like sonar, in this case, it's showing you that it's telling them where a moth is or a mosquito. It's also how they drink. Remember, they don't have hands. So how do you drink? They'll drink while flying. And the skill here is not to dive into the water, but to go really close to the edge of the water, open their mouth, and the water falls in. Okay, now what you're looking at, this picture here, is what the ultrasonic recorders gives you. On the horizontal axis is the time, and you're looking at about that one is less than 1 second. And the vertical axis is frequency. Okay, the sound doesn't come. So in the recording, there we go. Now this is the sound slowed down by about 20 times. It's the only way we could hear it. Now the pattern of those calls, we now can use that to determine what they're doing. And so what you're looking at is a picture of these ultrasonic sounds, that standard ultrasonic cheap, that's how they navigate through the environment. When they see a mosquito, then they'll make the sound go extremely fast, like a chirp every 1,000th of a second. And when it gets close enough, it opens its mouth, swallows the mosquito, and away it goes. And this picture here is I'm showing you that we can see all sorts of behaviors from these calls: searching, approaching, feeding, drinking, the contact with the water. How we are working right now to find out where these bats are found. For example, each of those yellow dots is where we have one of those ultrasonic recorders. So when a bat flies in this matrix, it will record the sounds it makes. So these recorders are all synchronized for exactly the same time. And so a lot of the work that my students do is going through the recordings of all these recorders and being able to put together a path of where they're coming from. This is a picture taken at night, totally unexpected. Bats foraging over the water. And there's an otter right there. And this is another picture. And the time here is about midnight, and this is in August. We can capture them, and we use nets that are like volleyball nets, but they're very, very thin and fine, and they're so fine that the bats can't see them when they're flying. We sure can't see them, and a couple of years ago, I caught the regional forester. Boy, did I get in trouble for that. Okay, just a minute. All right. Now, that's where they are. I invented the term. The moss balls is a moss that hangs from the trees. It's also on the side of the trees. It's at the base of the trees. Just think about it. It would be like getting into a sleeping bag. Okay, the moss is soft. It's insulated, and unlike bats in caves that you've often seen in movies or in the Midwest, here in Alaska, they are separated in small groups, because you only can fit so many bats into a moss ball there. That's part of the effort, and then the difficulty for working with bats is that they're not found in a single place. They're found distributed throughout our environment. The one exception is, I just forgot the name of the old abandoned mine. Well, here, yes, okay. Old mine shafts, the adit shafts, sometimes are used by bats, and when we found some here in that. But this is the environment that Alaska bats are found in. Okay, so to wrap this up, our work is continuing. As you see, it takes a fair amount of work. They're so small and so fast, we don't have the luxury of looking and watching at them. We don't have the luxury of looking and watching them, but instead we can record where they are, and that will tell us a lot more about how bats are using the environment. The project that initially funded this work throughout the entire forest was the concern we've had about something called white-nosed disease caused by a fungus that affects bats down in the lower 48 and is responsible for even millions of bats dying. We do not have that fungus. We don't have white nose disease here. We have the fungus, but it doesn't cause white nose, and we're not sure why. So our work continues because we need to know more about the natural history and the biology. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Those were interesting. Thanks, Doug. I enjoyed those presentations. And just curious about white nose syndrome. Last I read about it's down in the lower 48. Is it the kind of thing that's moving up through British Columbia, along the coast or anything like that, or does anyone know?
It is, but it looks like it's slowing down, and we're not sure. That fungus, by the way, is native to northern regions. And it was brought to the U.S. by cavers from Scandinavia who didn't clean their boots off, and then when it came to New York, then spread it throughout. We're not sure. Okay, so that's a really good question. Is it spreading? Is it increasing? How is the warming temperatures affecting it? And we're still gathering basic information on that.
Thanks. And since bats are blind, how do they find the human blood?
Could you speak bats and rabies? Is that something to worry about, dead or alive?
Rabies. Just quickly, many of you know this. If any of you find a bat, you're asked to send it into the state health, and then they'll check. In 25 years, they've discovered rabies in our bats twice. Okay. Second, and one of my former master's student looked at the viruses found in our bats, and they carry a lot of viruses. One you may have heard of, coronavirus, but not the one that causes COVID. None of these viruses represent a human health hazard. Even if they did, these are very small bats, and so for them to bite us, it would be like us trying to bite a bowling ball. Okay, so we're safe. All right. That's all right.